So the Denver Nuggets remain the 1 seed in the Western Conference. And weirdly enough, they're kind of like the Indiana Pacers, where I think they're not being talked about enough, even though they are statistically like maybe the best team in the league. It's been a lot of talk about the Warriors' struggles and James Harden, and the Lakers are a 24/7 news cycle. But then you got Nikola Jokic nearly averaging a triple-double and 7.5 assists a game as a center. And this team has had injuries, and Will Barton hasn't played, and yet they're better defensively. Jokic is moving around defensively way more than he ever has. They play really hard, and they're one of the more entertaining teams in the league. The question is, how good can this team be in a playoff setting? Well, I think the first thing to talk about is how deep of a team this is. I mean, Monte Morris is in the conversation with Derrick Rose and JJ Barea, and maybe he's a little below those two, but he's not too far away from being among the best backup point guards in the NBA. I've talked about him. His efficiency is amazing as a scorer, as a passer, and all that. Juancho has done a very good job of stepping in and being a tall wing who can knock down shots and go off the dribble occasionally and grab some rebounds. I think his defense has at least been not bad. Torrey Craig has been playing some defense. I don't know where his offense is at, but you look at Malik Beasley, who's given them good minutes. I think Mason Plumlee has at least not sucked. And then, of course, you're going to have Will Barton coming back at some point. So there's a lot of stuff that this team can do, and I think that will definitely help them in a playoff series, because there are some teams who do not have that luxury right now in the Western Conference. I mean, you look at the Rockets, and the reason they're winning is because James Harden is just playing supernova nuclear 9000. The Warriors have had depth problems, and they're going to need DeMarcus Cousins. I mean, the Thunder are still looking for a guy who can knock down shots consistently. They've tried Abrines, hasn't really worked. Patterson is always up and down. But the Nuggets are a bit different in that respect. So that is number one. That's very good, of course. I think the next conversation you got to have is, are Jamal Murray and Gary Harris good enough? Because with Murray and Harris, I think these two are still going to be looked at as the second and third options, and occasionally may even still shoot more than Jokic. I mean, Murray is shooting more than Jokic, and sometimes that can be a bit of a problem for them, where Jokic will have those games where he finishes with like 12 points. But anyway, they're going to need Murray and Harris to play well, and Jamal Murray, he's an up-and-down guy. I mean, his numbers of 18 and 5 and 5 rebounds as well, that looks pretty good. His percentages are down across the board from last season. He takes those contested shots, he takes the moving threes, and it seemed like last year he was really going to start making those consistently, and this year it's been a bit of a step back for him. But he does have those huge nights as well. So in a playoff series, can he have 4 of those games where he just goes nuts for like 36 points because he goes 9 for 14 from 3 or something? Or is he going to have more of those games where he just goes like 2 for 11 from 3 and he's just kind of an afterthought? I think a similar thing can be said for Gary Harris, whose efficiency has been rough this year. He doesn't have the ball as much as Jamal Murray, but he still has the ball quite a lot. I mean, his usage would rank, it would technically rank 5th on this team behind Trey Lyles, of all people. But I would expect in a big series that Gary Harris would have the ball quite a bit. So can he just cause separation enough and all that stuff? I mean, for as much offense as Jokic creates for them, I don't know if a team in a playoff series is going to consistently get beat on the cut plays and all that they run to get Jokic his assists. I don't know. That'll be all interesting stuff. And then, of course, other guys matter. Millsap, of course, matters when it comes to the offense and all that. But again, I think a lot of it will just come back to how good are Jamal Murray and Gary Harris going to be in a playoff series. Can those two read defenses effectively? Because I think Murray's playmaking is going to be tested, and I think up to this point, I mean, he is the template of the like Damian Lillard type of point guard, which is, the ideal point to have in my opinion. But he is, of course, not as good of a scorer as Dame, and as a result, he may have to make some more passes here and there, and I think up to this point, his playmaking has been average. He doesn't turn the ball over too much, which is good, but it's not like he's a big-time assist guy either, so if I had to take a pick, I actually think Murray will struggle perhaps a little bit more than he will flourish in a playoff series. Of course, it depends on who they face. I mean, right now they would end up against the Lakers. Granted, they're the 8th seed because LeBron's been hurt, but I mean, if that was the series right now in round 1 and LeBron is healthy, I think I would actually take the Lakers in that series, because I think with all the tall defenders that the Lakers have and the fact that LeBron can really go at Jokic and all that, I think that would test Denver in a way that we're going to have to see if they can handle, because that's another thing, is their defense has been really good. I know it has. Jokic is playing pick and rolls way better than he ever has, and this team just plays hard. They fight over picks. They close out hard. I think Juancho, again, while he's not like one of the better defenders in the league, I think he's been pretty okay, and given that he's a tall dude, usually being pretty okay means you're a pretty decent net positive, I guess. And Millsap is legit as well, but I think in a playoff series against a player like LeBron or players like Steph and KD, or against Russ, assuming Russ doesn't shoot like 6 for 19 from the field every game, or a team like with Harden, or against DeRozan, or against the Blazers with Dame, they're going to attack Jokic. They just are. And can he, possession after possession, hold up in that sort of situation? Now again, he has improved, so I think his chances of surviving in that are going to be higher than they ever have been, but it is still going to be difficult. I mean, sure, Millsap can help him out, and there's probably an argument to be made about putting Millsap on the guy that would typically screen for the star player, but that's not going to erase everything. Then you look at Mason Plumlee, who plays 20 minutes a game, unless they're going to go with Millsap at small ball center as much as they can. So, while the defense is definitely better, I fear that it could be exposed a little bit in the playoffs. And another reason why I believe that, not just because of Jokic, but for while this team has gotten better defensively, there's still a lot of short guys on this team. That's another thing, is if we're going against, we'll say the Lakers again, we're saying LeBron, right? LeBron could just get himself switched onto Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, Monte Morris, Malik Beasley. Beasley's not a bad defender, I think, but he could get himself switched onto one of these dudes all game. And, I mean, you can try everything in your arsenal to not have that happen, but LeBron's like the smartest player ever, so there's a decent chance he's going to be able to do it a few times a game at least, and that could be the difference between you losing a game by like 6 or 7 points or having a chance to win it at the end. And I think I can say that same thing for a lot of the lead guards in the West. I mean, the Blazers have been running a few more off-ball things this year, and the Nuggets don't have a defender as good as Drew Holiday. While I don't know if DeRozan is smart enough to do that every single time, Popovich certainly is. James Harden can do that stuff. So, yeah, I do still have some fears with this Nuggets team. But we should also say, this team could probably give a lot of teams problems, and a lot of that is because of Jokic. I mean, if we're going to go back to the Lakers again, can JaVale McGee and Zubats and Tyson Chandler defend anything Jokic wants to do? I don't know. Can Nurkic or any of the Spurs bigs? Capella's probably got a shot, but Gortat and Steven Adams, who's been better on the perimeter, but Jokic is going to make you step out basically every single possession. Can these teams have an answer for him? And maybe Jokic is good enough to win a playoff series by himself. Assuming that Murray and Harris and the rest of these guys can just not be a disaster, is there a chance that Jokic playing 39 minutes to 43, 44 minutes a game in a series puts up 26 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists? Because if that's the case, then they might have a chance against pretty much anybody. Now, one thing I think we should also consider with that is, while Jokic has certainly gotten himself into better shape, he's still not at an ideal place. I mean, you can just look at the guy and you can tell that he could probably be fit to lose another, at least 7 pounds or so. And maybe he runs into some stamina problems in a playoff series where he's got to play a lot of minutes. I don't know. That is one interesting thing that I don't think has been talked about enough, is the Nuggets have not played Jokic that many minutes in his career. Like, last year was the most minutes he ever played, and he only averaged about 32 and a half. So I think they're aware of that stuff, and maybe that could come back to bite them in a series. I don't know. But yeah, I fear for some things with this team, but they're really good for a reason, so I wouldn't be shocked if they went down in a round 1 series against like a particular team. I also wouldn't be shocked if they went all the way to the Western Conference Finals, so yeah.